guna that is preventing him to. So what means he is always running around. And the problem is you have to withdraw your mind from unnecessary obligations. The only problem is I have to live in this world. No one can remain without activities. So therefore, while acting as is karmani akarmaya pasyetu, the one who sees himself is a non-doer while doing is going on. So everybody has to do it. But everything is going on, that's life itself involves an action. But one can remain actionless while action is going on. That's what the essence of the highest philosophy of Vedanta is. Where the body, mind, intellect can act. That means transactionally one can perform actions that are required, where the mind doesn't get involved too deeply into the problems, but has to be addressed what the problem is. Our major problem is that mind so deeply worried about the things that we don't do efficient. Action is not efficient. Where Mahatma, when he performs an action, it will be most efficient because every sankalpa he does is exactly precise. I have to give examples of my own experience with the Swami Chinmayananji, my teacher, and the very interesting examples that people may have, or at least those who are in the Chinmaya Mission in Washington, they know. And there are many incidences of other people who have different stories. But here is my personal experience of the Gurudev. What happened is next day we have a yajna, that means a camp actually, where we have to make a lot of arrangements and the busy in terms of, like any other camp, people only register in the last day. So until then we were worrying about how to fill up the number of commitments that we have made for the school and for the yajna place or the camp place. But last minute everything gets filled up, and we have to even reject because we don't have any more accommodations. This happens to everybody, every camp. So that camp also we have same problem, and we are all concerned about what the organization in terms of everything has to be perfect according to Gurudev's instructions. The place and the arrangements and everything has to be perfect. So busy with that. So tomorrow, the Gurudev is going to come around early morning from California, or overnight flight, because in the night the camp is over, and the night he is taking a flight around 12 o'clock and comes early morning in Washington. That's what the schedule was. So I got a call from the secretary of Gurudev's secretary from California. Says Swamiji is coming in that flight. Says that's good, because we were all prepared. And then she said, make sure that Lord Shiva arrives at the center before Swamiji, because we are inaugurating the center at that time, and that's called Kailas Nivas, and Lord Shiva is moving from this Kailas here to that Kailas Nivas, and the idol is supposed to come, and we don't know when it's coming and how is it coming, and we have no idea. And here the secretary says that make sure that Lord Shiva arrives before the Gurudev enters into the hall. How am I going to make sure? These are the night, 8 o'clock in the night. So we are trained to give a standard answer, because there is no point in explaining to the secretary that we don't know where it is and all that. So we'll try our best. That's called the camera, not pakalam. So there, yeah, we will see. So same way we said, yes, we will try. What is that? There is nothing to try. We have to wait. So this is at 8 o'clock in the night, and Swamiji is coming at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I have to make sure that Lord Shiva is there in the center before Lord Swamiji walks into the center. How am I going to make sure? So we just kept quiet. But believe it or not, at 10 o'clock I get a call from New York. It says, hey, Swamiji is here in New York. The Lord Shiva is there in New York. My God, Lord has come all the way from the from India without immigration problems. So he had landed in New York, and this gentleman, and called Kalidas, Mr. Kalidas, he works for Air India at that time. He may be still there, he was working at Air India, and he brought Lord Shiva with him, and he says, Lord Shiva has come first class all the way, and we brought it in Air India flight. Now you have to make arrangements from how to transport Lord Shiva from New York to Washington. Oh, I'm going to make arrangements at 10 o'clock in the night. So I called the Vilasini, who was a brahmachari at that time. So I called her and says, this is a story. And says, don't worry, we will try to find out a pickup truck because it's a very useful, and see we can go to New York. And so she's trying to find out a pickup truck and all that. And I went to sleep. Again, I got a call around 11 o'clock in the night, and there it says, I am coming by train from New York and to Washington. I am bringing Shiva on that, and it will be arriving at 1:30 in the middle of the night. Please make sure to pick up. So I told him where to get down, close to the center. The train station is there, and we will try to arrange some arrangements for Lord Shiva to pick up. When I called again, this is a story, says, this is very good, we go and pick it up from the train station. I went to sleep, my work is over. I used to live in Virginia, and this is what in Maryland was quite far. But so, by the Lord Shiva came around the 1:30 or in the middle of the night, they transported it, and by the time they said it was almost like 4 o'clock in the morning. Then at 5:30 we went to airport to pick up Gurudev. By the time 6 o'clock he walks in, Lord Shiva is already there. So very amazing how things worked when he was there, because he wanted to make sure the Lord Shiva is there before in the center before he went. So it's a Kailas Niwas is entering with the blessing of the Lord. Then he calls me and says, you have to give cable to the brahmachari is supposed to come. That Sudhir Chaitanya at the time was aligned as a brahmachari for the center. Says you give a cable to him, ask him to come quickly, make all the arrangements so that whatever the paperwork is required, so that Sudhir Chaitanya will be here before the camp ends. We have been struggling and postponing that for the past 3 months or 4 months. Now I talked to the president of that of our association, Mr. Nanik Lavori. He says, this is what Gurudev wants, so can you get the paperwork done? Oh, so how can I do this? This is a Sunday, it's impossible. How can I have to go to bank statement, I have to get a bank deposit amount and blah blah blah. So just try whatever that is to be done or that can be done, and if not, we will report to the Gurudev what is. So believe it or not, he went around and found out that the bank was open, or because it's some Indian bank there where they could give a letter about the state that we can support the brahmacharya and all the required things that are done, by paperwork are done, and he brought an envelope. I don't believe it, this is all happening and everything is ready. Only problem is, this has to be sent to Bombay, and brahmachari somewhere else. He was, I think, Hyderabad or somewhere, and brahmachari has to come to Bombay and pick up with the information, get a visa, and then come all the way. But this has to go. It will take a week to reach to Bombay. How can brahmachari be here? Then we said suddenly we went to Gurudev with the information. Say we have Kalidas who brought the Air India employee who brought the Lord Shiva. We will send the letter through him to go to Bombay. Yes, he is going to Bombay anyway. So he will hand over the letter to Shiva Mission that's required. So believe it or not, the letter immediately went, and within 2 days it reached Bombay, and they gave a cable, the brahmachari in Bombay, and immediately they packed him, and brahmachari was there before the end of the camp. This is how amazingly how things sankalpa, how a Mahatma sankalpa is clear cut, precise, and he knows to whom he has to give the responsibility also. That's the greatness of the, how to delegate also. He makes sure that action being done properly, and if there is help, he is ready to help in terms of advice. And he calls, on the camp started, he calls me on Monday, and the Saturday is the inauguration, and we have a big function to be scheduled of the installation of the idol and all that, small Kumbhabhishekam and installation of the Chinmaya Kailas Nivas. They calls me and says, you have to make sure that there is a pedestal has to be built where Lord Shiva has to be, for where Lord Shiva can sit, and it should be like this, should be made with a marble all around. It should be such that when the water Abhishekam pours, water doesn't come out, it will be contained, and there should be a connection so that water can go outside without falling anywhere. With all the clean, he drew drawings and everything and gave it to me. So we have a committee where we have engineers and architects and everybody are there in the camp itself. So we have meeting and the people call everybody, and this is what they want. Everybody said it's impossible because we took 1 month to fix even a bulb there. So where do we get a people? Where do we get a carpet? Where do we get a marble? All these things is impossible. How can we do it by Saturday is our inauguration? How can it be possible? Everybody said impossible. And say, okay, you be in charge of this, you be in charge, try to find somebody who can do it, you be in charge of marble selection. So every work is distributed. Not that I didn't do anything, because only my work is to distribution. So that's a very simple job. So everybody is saying, and everybody run around, and they found out, an engineer found out a jack of all trades, because it has to build inside the stage, cannot be built outside and take it inside. It has to build inside the center only. He found a fellow who can carpenter come, he multitask guy, and he built it, and we went in search of marbles, and Gurudev himself came and selected the marbles that we want. Everything is done on the Friday night around 11 o'clock, work is done. Next day is inauguration. So somebody was in charge of the arrangement of the tents outside and all that. Everything, the tent people came and installed those things. And the only thing is there was all grass there, we had to mow the lawn. So we were doing at 11 o'clock in the night, we were mowing the lawn there to prepare that, to make sure the chairs are there, everything is there. By the time we went back, it was almost like at 2 o'clock in the morning, but 7 o'clock we had to go all the way. All vans are arranged, everything arranged, and everything went perfectly. Of course, we were sleeping in the class because we were doing all the work. And Gurudev knows the problems also. And he was compassionate in that, because we know we work whole night in order to get that done. But the point is, the sankalpa of the Mahatma is everything has to be precise and exact. And to the order he follows, and he makes sure that others follow also. That's the discipline. So in every yajna, because the donations are coming from different directions for the after yajna prasad, whatever the donations come. And each donation, some people want Mananam CD, some people want this CD, some people want study group. Different items are there, you have to check it. You have to write down each one. At that time we didn't have any computers. These are around in the early 70s. And no Excel and all that. We have to handwrite everything, every detail of that after the yajna. And there will be 4 copies. 1 copy we keep, and 1 copy we give to Swamiji. 1 copy we have to send to the Chinmaya Mission West, and 1 to CCMT, that is Central Chinmaya Mission to Bombay. 4 copies have to be prepared and sent. 1 goes to the Gurudev, and he looks at it. Because it goes to the Gurudev, we have to make sure everything is correct. Otherwise we won't pay that much attention, since he is going to see it. And he sees and signs it, same. And everything is precisely accounted. If there is a problem, he will find out. That discipline he was insisting. That's what Shraddha is trying to make sure, students, to make sure you have, the mind is disciplined to follow what is to be. And when you sit in the seat of, in the class, the mind understands. So he is the one who said, you are the only one who understands clearly. When I was attending a camp, he told me, you start now teaching. I was looking at blank, what can I teach? He said, don't worry, everything will come. So it has been coming from His grace only, not mine. It is only His grace that is flowing through. So therefore, that surrenderance to Him becomes a part of the very disciplining the mind, and that lack is what is Shraddha becomes. So in order to compensate it, then you have to prepare the mind, because the rajasic mind is there. So how do I prepare? We have to reduce the possessions and the obligations and the transactions and the relationships to the minimum that is required for the body to continue. And that becomes a part of it. Then what else I do? After studying Vedanta, if you are not able to claim, Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, discuss this Vedanta with the others. How do I discuss? With continuously whatever, with other people or people with the same attitude, who wants to know more about it, who are familiar with it, to discuss with them. So this becomes a part of Nididhyasana also. Nididhyasana means meditation. It's not like sitting, now I know, this is all intellectual understanding, now I have to sit down and meditate. It's not that. Nididhyasana is using the intellect to contemplate on it. And that involves essentially trying to claim the how do I do this constant Sravanam, continuous Sravanam, that means listening to the scriptures becomes a part of the Nididhyasana. And listening and then Sravanam and Mananam, the reflecting on the teaching, discussing with the teacher, with others, discussing with whom? Those who are also of the same level, and that becomes a clarification, as they say, at the same time, contemplate on that direction. It's not discuss not to prove you are right and they are wrong. It is what is the nature of the reality, so that the mind is dwelling on that. That is the nature of discussion. And Srotavyaha, Mantavyaha. And then the reading, continuously reading, writing, and even talking about the nature of the reality to those who are ready to listen. So this process itself becomes a Nididhyasana. So constantly the mind contemplating on the nature of the reality itself is a Nididhyasana, because otherwise the mind wants to run around outside. You are bringing in, providing a vehicle for it to uplift your mind. If the mind is not prepared even, then instead of that, bring Ishvara into picture, where Bhakti becomes important for mind, as called attachment, detachment technique. In order to get detached from the outside, because habitually you are going after, you attach to something higher, and in that way you can detach from the lower, and from there you go up into so that's why Vedanta says, Yachakshusha napasyati, yena chakshum sapasyati, tadeva brahma samviddhi, nedam yadidam upasate. So you are doing the Ishvara bhakti as a ritual, and when you are exposing to Vedanta, then it says, now leave that one. Leave what? Leave Ishvara bhakti as objectifiable Ishvara, as these are Ishvara and I am student. So Sayujyam has to come. That means identification that I am not different from the Ishvara, because that's a Chaitanya Swarupam, where I have to use Bhagatyaga Rakshanam, where he is Sarvajnaha, I am Alpajnaha. But I discard all that. What is equated is pure I am, which is pure existent consciousness, and I also exist in consciousness. That identification at the Satchidananda Swarupam, and reject everything. And to realize that, I can do contemplation on it. It is just meditation is also a part of so when I am dealing with everybody else outside, keep mind there. But when I am sitting in it, revel in the direction. Meditation is not a thoughtless state or go to mindless state. Using the mind, contemplate in that, because of which I am able to see the thoughts and I am able to see the consciousness, because when I say I am not the mind, I am there to say that I am not the mind. So I am there in every transaction, whether it is objective transaction or in the contemplation. So nididhyasana is not negation of the mind. It's not a negation of the thought. I need the thought to see what is that, because of which the thought is revealed. That where I sit in the meditation and contemplate on the truth, that becomes the proper nididhyasana. So all these are methods are to keep the mind back into it. Major problems is only my mind lack of mental preparation. Sometimes the karma yoga was not done completely to the degree to purify the mind. But once it is done, you are able to contemplate it, because we don't know how pure the pure mind is. So as long as you listen to the Vedanta, then until then you prepare the mind. Now listening to the Vedanta, Srotavyaha, Mantavyaha, and contemplating on the Vedantic meditation, and not thoughtless state but thoughts in the direction, and that itself will purify the mind, because you are withdrawing and contemplating. So meditation, as Krishna says, yato yato nischarati manas chanchalamasthira tatastato niyamyairatu atmanyeyo shinmaye. So whenever the mind has drifted out and going into the worldly transactions, even when you are sitting in the meditation, this happens because the mind is habitually going. That's what people complain, that I am not able to meditate. Why you are not able to meditate? Because my mind is running all over. Where is running all over? It is running where your investment is. That means your attachments are. So how do I bring it? Once you recognize that the mind has run away, bring it back. As a Vedantic student, more and more and more you contemplate, less and less and less the mind will run away. But once you discover the mind has run away, bring it back. So yato yato nischarati manas chanchalamasthira. Whenever the mind has gone out, tatastado niyamyaito atmaniyo avashamnai, then and there bring the mind and contemplate on that. So your contemplation, there is only one, I am, and everything else, this is only, that is nothing but I am only as a substratum. They call anatma. So atma and anatma. Atma is self, pure Sachidananda. Anatma is superficial mithya. That means transactional world that is superimposed on Atma only. So even when I am transacting in the anatma, even when I am transacting in the world, I have to be aware that I am the very substratum of the world. So this becomes a meditation, where I have to see in and through everyone is nothing but pure consciousness, existence only, expressing in various forms. And that becomes the major continuous constant meditation. The more I meditate on it, the more I am withdrawing from myself, from the all avagatory, the distracting things that occupying my mind, and slowly. And this is a lifelong process. Even though I know the Vedanta, even though I understood, even though I can talk about it and discuss about it, mind still habitually going after, because the mind has been gone or trained to go life after life after life. Therefore, the purity of the mind is not easy to get, not 100%. Thermodynamically is impossible. 100% gold you cannot get it. You may get 99.99999, however much you purify it, however much process is only for another 999 only. So you cannot, that's thermodynamically it's impossible to get 100% purity. Same way, 100% purity of the mind is not possible, because we are transacting in the world also. You cannot but transact in the world. Even if I take a sannyasa, I will be still using the body, mind, intellect only. So parivrajaka will not make any much difference, but only it avoids all other unnecessarily transactional world, but I may pick up something else in the process. So someone made a very funny comment. So the sannyasi was wearing only a lion cloth, the langoti. So langoti is a lion cloth, and that's all he has, and he may have some small vessel to carry the water, or a stick where he can rest his arm or something, so called kamandalu, and the small vessel, that's what traditional sannyasis used to have. So there's langoti, but one can get attached to those also. So attachment is mental in the sense that one fellow said, as long as langoti is attached to him, there is no problem. But he gets attached to langoti, then there is a problem. So attachments can develop even when mind is, even without having anything also. Even the place where you sleep, you get attached to it. There's a story of Buddha used to tell that when they inaugurated the Benares University, they invited one big Swami, because it became a Hindu university, they invited a big Swami from Himalayas, and they were made sure that he is comfortable, and a big hotel where he is comfortably, AC room and all that. When he moved in, he saw all Dalna bed and AC room and all that. So I don't want it, I cannot sleep on that. So what's the problem? They thought there is something wrong with it. No, I need my what is called skin, where the tiger skin, where I need to sleep. I cannot sleep on the Dalna bed. So essentially, somebody said, we are attached to Dalna bed, but he is attached to the tiger skin. So what's the difference? Attachment is attachment. So the problem is whether dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigataspuraha vitaraga bhayakrodaha stitadhir muniruchyate. Says whatever that comes as a part of prarabdha, accept it as it's a prasadam. Prasadam can be sweet, prasadam can be bitter. And in the Yugadi they give with all the tastes mixed as a prasadam. To know that life is like that. But it can come, whole life is like that only. Accept it as a prasadam with a reverential attitude without reacting. That should be attitude of as a Mahatma as he lives through. And that's how one has to train the mind, where my mind is always in that state of understanding. So accept whatever that comes due to prarabdha without getting agitated unnecessarily more than what is required. You don't get agitated, otherwise people will you become a doormat for everybody to step on. It's not that. Vedanta, it doesn't mean that you should accept anybody start stepping on you. You have to do what is to be done in order to transact properly in the world. More beautify the world itself. We'll discuss that more, and we'll discuss next in terms of what Gaudapada says in terms of obstacles. And with that, we'll try to complete this series. Then we stop here now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.